My name is Anna Lago. I am a rising junior at Boston College studying environmental studies, and I have a minor in finance and accounting. I'm so lucky to be part of this all-star cohort this summer. This summer I worked on an individual project after I was connected with the local startup. As I mentioned, I am from South Florida, and I did a little bit of research about Cape Cod before coming here, and similar problems that I saw in my local hometown in South Florida was a reality that was faced on the Cape as well. So as we can see in the pictures that are presented on the slideshow, so the top image is taken in a neighborhood by my high school, and as you can see, there's significant flooding. And the lower image is a local neighborhood in Barnstable. Both communities are struggling with flooding, which is only going to continue to rise due to climate change and the growing increase in sea level that's occurring globally. So this summer I wanted to explore if there were any potential startups that I could connect with this summer that had a solution to this problem. So why is the Cape such a vulnerable area? As you can see, the Cape has about 559 miles of coastline, and all this coastline is extremely vulnerable to rising sea level, flooding, storm surge, and these events have also a lot of impacts on the local economy. So the Cape is a blue economy, which means it relies on its coastlines for a lot of economic benefits, from tourism to fishing to water activities. So these realities, they're not just headlines, they're real problems that are faced in these communities. So some challenges identified on the Cape were there was an overall increase in at-risk areas and businesses, and in general, essential services that are at risk to flooding. And these shorelines are going to continue to grow shorter, which is going to impact marine life and waterfront infrastructure. And also there is an increase in the rate of erosion that's occurring on the Cape. And in general, certain areas in the Cape are experiencing higher erosion, and others sediment patterns are shifting. So when looking at what are our solutions, I identified that there already is a solution that has been implemented, and that's seawalls. However, seawalls are a pretty complex solution because traditional seawalls have the benefits of protecting the built environment from strong waves and flooding, but they also have a lot of consequences. Two negative consequences of seawalls is that the flat surface isn't ideal for marine organisms to form ecosystems on, which is pretty essential to developing juvenile habitats. And the second is the flat surface, though it's pretty good at preventing large waves from crashing onto this built landscape that I previously mentioned, the flat surface doesn't absorb wave energy as well as other structures do. So a startup I was introduced to early on in the summer has a living seawall tech that solves these complex problems that the normal traditional seawall can't. So a living seawall in general is a coastal protection structure that has a hard exterior that mimics native plants and other natural resources to protect coasts, bays, and tidal marshes. And a startup that I was introduced to is called Kind Design, and they have 3 seawall products, seawall panels, tiles, and shoreline structures that transform these traditional flat barriers into regenerative systems. And they do this by using 3D print technology. So in this images on the slideshow, you can see that that's a 3D printed seawall structure that they manufactured in South Florida. They're based in South Florida, but are really interested in what opportunities are available in Massachusetts and the Cape. And these 3D structures reflect native ecosystems. So this one, for example, reflects native mangrove roots in Florida, and the organisms that are located in this area create new habitats from this seawall, where previously seawalls wouldn't have been able to do that. So I connected with Kind Designs, and I wanted to help their efforts to expand into Massachusetts. So some ways I helped support this team was that I provided a background on permitting and mitigation. So this company is based in Florida, and they've done projects in New York and San Francisco, but New England is especially Massachusetts, is a new landscape for them. So I worked with them to kind of provide some background for what permitting would need to be done for potential pilot projects that could occur in this area. And specifically, one pilot project that was a project that I helped assist with was the Chatham Barn Hill Town Landing. So Chatham's natural resource director reached out to Kind Designs and expressed that they have a seawall that's located in the town that is very damaged and is no longer able to be used by the community. And this is a problem, and they're looking to replace this seawall, but the natural resource director identified that Kind Designs could be a pretty good company to use to do this replacement. So they are going to lead a presentation to the Conservation Committee in early September, and I helped them create this presentation, and then they're going to see if this pilot project can start soon, and hopefully this can be a step in kind of helping Kind Designs understand how their product works into the New England landscape. Lastly, I did some grant assistance. I helped them apply for a grant that is specialized in blue climate tech on this project. I also reached out to a Living Seawall panel to understand what other communities on the Cape are interested in living seawalls. So some project inspiration on work that Kind Designs that has potential to also be piloted in Massachusetts are shown here. And so the first one, this is oyster structures that were created by Kind Designs and their 3D printed technology. And these oyster structures help also improve the water quality. So this specific one was done off the coast of New York near Governor's Island. And in general, there was tremendous benefits to not only preventing storm surge, but also improving water quality and boosting juvenile fish populations in the area. So this is a potential project that, again, could be really great to occur in Massachusetts community. Next is a New England. So this specific picture demonstrates that sort of micro habitats that form from this technology. And I use this picture as an example to demonstrate how these microhabitats could be used in the New England landscape. So specifically shellfish and a lot of populations that are currently struggling right now could receive a lot of benefits from the implementation of these structures in Massachusetts. This is another inspiration piece. Lastly, this is a large-scale municipal partnership that Kind Designs did with the city of Fort Lauderdale. And this sort of municipal partnership work is these sort of partners and projects that they're really interested in doing. Not only are residential very important, but larger scale municipal work is really important to making the most impact on a wider scale. And specifically this Chatham project is just one smaller sort of micro pilot project that can hopefully grow into larger scales projects as seen on this image right here.